All right, so before we get this going, we got a World Cup starting next week, and we got to start bringing back out the USA stuff. I don't know how excited you are for it, but I am ecstatic for it. Hopefully I don't live on the West Coast. I'm not going to be able to really make it to any of the U.S. games, but I'm hoping that I'll be able to make it to a couple of the East Coast games. We'll have to see how that goes. But anyways, we are here now. We're going to talk about the A.J. Brown trade. And yeah, let's just get right in. I'm going to do the same thing as I did for the last video, the Myles Garrett, Jared Verse trade. Go check that video out. It is on my channel right now. I think it's a great video. We're going to do this in the same way. We're going to intro it, and then we're going to go from the Eagles' perspective, and then we're going to go from the Patriots' perspective. So let's jump right in. A.J. Brown will join the New England Patriots in a trade that gives the Eagles a 2028 first-round pick and a 2027 fifth-round pick. So timing of the deal is obviously after June 1st, again, intentional to allow the Eagles to split A.J. Brown's $43.45 million dead cap hit across 2 seasons rather than just taking the entire penalty this year. Contractually for A.J. Brown, he's signed through the 2029 season. His deal runs through 2029 with a guaranteed $29 million for 2026. But there are no guarantees for the last 2 years. So now, diving right into this, I'm going to go at it from an Eagles perspective, and I'm going to kind of say why it's a good deal, why it's not a good deal. But I think the first thing to emphasize is, obviously, the A.J. Brown-Eagles relationship had been deteriorating for quite some time. They haven't been on the same page really throughout the 2025 season, and this is kind of how it ended. I personally believe a trade was inevitable. I think it was bound to happen. We're going to talk about the package that the Eagles are going to get, but regardless of how good or how bad or how middle ground you think the package that they're getting was, he was bound to leave the team. So we're going to talk about the repercussions of that. So, I think, if you're an Eagles fan, you would have preferred that he would have been able to stay in Philadelphia, obviously. But I think you look at now that he's gone and, you have to come to terms with that. And that was probably bound to happen anyways. Just the fact that a 2028 first rounder, you probably would have hoped and expected and believed that you could have gotten a 2027 first-round pick out of this instead of not. So the Eagles get nothing out of this deal right away. But again, you have to take it with the perspective that A.J. Brown was bound to depart. Obviously, now you upgrade Devontae Smith to wide receiver 1. Now you have a couple of younger guys on that team. You got Mekhi Lemon, obviously, who you drafted, and you have Dontavian Wicks, UVA grad, love the guy, and obviously still Dallas Goedert. I think that can work out. It's just now you're a lot less stable, and you don't know as much as you did before. And so, obviously, you still have guys, again, like I said, Devontae Smith, Saquon Barkley, Dallas Goedert. That's 3 great guys, obviously. So, there's no doubt that the Eagles can still be good. They're now, if you want to look at it from a positive light, you get a first-round pick at all for what is a 29-year-old. And, you get to spread the cap out. And, they get decent value. I believe they could have done a little bit better. But again, given the player's desire to move on, this is where it's 50-50. It's like you got some value. You were able to get a first-round pick, but you're only able to get a future first and a fifth for what is it, back-to-back, 1,000-yard years for you. You're going to have to wait and see now for the Eagles on how this is going to work out. It's just now down to a little bit of uncertainty. So, really, just to sum it all up, again, they get a first-round pick. They save some money. They're avoiding decline. That draft pick, you're going to have to wait and see on it. And just the Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown connection that they had formed over the last few seasons. So, I think in the short term, they could still produce well this season. They could determine oh, look, we got Wicks and we got Lemon who are really, really good for us. We don't know right now how well it's going to work out until the 2026 season and then seeing where that pick ends up. So right now it's hard to say, but again, it's a guy who wanted to leave and you still got some value out of it, and you can kind of look to younger guys in the future. Moving now over to the Patriots side of things is I think for New England, I think they get good value out of it. Again, they're in a win-now scenario. They're in a pretty good position coming off a Super Bowl appearance. A.J. Brown reunites with Mike Vrabel, who he drafted in Tennessee. And now Drake May finally has a wide receiver 1 to work with. You could talk about their line issues some. You can talk about other things, but what Drake May has struggled with and what this offense has struggled with is a true wide receiver one. And now that they have Romeo Doubs, which I thought was a great pickup in the offseason, they now have A.J. Brown, who is a true, legitimate, proven wide receiver one in the league. Again, in the immediate, this is a great upgrade for New England. I think you get a star, you get someone for Drake May, you get a true wide receiver one that you've struggled with. But again, you just wonder, now how long will he? It's hard to make that prediction. He's getting on the older side of things. I don't really buy into that. If he stays healthy, he's going to produce. And again, like, they gave away a first-round pick in 2028. I don't really think that that's something that the Patriots have to worry about because they're in a good position, to put it that way. And I don't think it's an issue. And just the fact that they were able to avoid a 2027 first-round pick was huge. This is great right now for the Patriots because, again, like I said, one of the biggest issues they had was skill positions for Drake May. Patriots fans shouldn't care about this draft pick. I don't think that it's any worry. They didn't give up their current first-round pick. They're getting a guy for their quarterback. To sum this trade up, give it a grade. I think short-term is a massive win for the Patriots. Long-term, it can be considered a little bit of a risk, but given their situation, given that it's a reunification with Mike Vrabel, and again, wasn't the only issue, but it was a big issue in the playoffs and just overall offensively that he didn't have a guy that could really step up for him, and A.J. Brown should be that guy. They didn't get rid of a first-round pick for next year. This is a great deal for New England. They capitalized on a guy who wanted to leave his current team. So in terms of the Patriots, I'm going to go an A-. It's not an A+, not a complete home run. You're not going to be able to say that until you see how he produces. But it's an A- trade. It's a good deal for the Patriots. And then on the other side of things for Eagles, I think, again, you got to look back at the fact that he wanted to leave. So I think, again, you might not necessarily say this is great. Only got a 2028 first-round pick out of it. And now that there's going to be heavy reliance on younger receivers. But, again, I think, again, long-term, there's a chance that this could work out really well for them and open up the younger guys and give them a large opportunity, and they could learn a lot about where their future lies. So I think for the Eagles, it's a B- because they don't get a lot. They don't get a first-round pick next year. They only get one a couple of drafts away. But, again, I think that they have a couple young guys in Wicks and Lemon, and then still have Devontae Smith if he can stay healthy, that the Eagles could and should be fine. So I don't think it's a good deal for them, but it's the fact that the player wanted to be gone, that they kind of got what they could.